Hello everyone. What's going? Everything goes right. I believe you still enjoy the course. Welcome back again to UNS Fintech Summer Course School 2020, hosted by Center for Fintech and Banking UNS in collaboration with International Office UNS. My name is Zubrizal, and I will be the moderator of our this session. This session will be module 11, discuss about fintech and personal financial planning. As we know, the advancement of technology in the financial service sector provide good advantage for, as we know, the consumer, the enhancing the speed of transaction and simplify the transfer process. However, could lead the overconsumption without proper financial management. Fintech and personal financial planning discuss the role and the effect of fintech application on financial planning, both our personal and small business. The discourse will be focused on the basic of financial planning amid the whisper of fintech services, including how to set the financial goals, budgeting, managing risk, investment, and saving strategy. So let's meet two beautiful women back here. Let me say to Dr. Silviana Maya Damayanti from Institut Teknologi Bandung. Hello, Dr. Maya.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
How are you? Good to see you, Dr. Maya. Thanks for joining with us.
Thank you.
And we have Dr. Dwi Wulandari, consultant to Bank Indonesia and Indonesia Ministry of Cooperative and Small Medium Enterprises. Hi, Dr. Wulan.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you, Mr. Zufrizal? How should I call
fine,
you?
Thank you.
Rizal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zufri.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, thank you for joining with us, Dr. Wulan. Okay, before we start the presentation, I will try to remind all the students relating to the several things. First, don't forget to turn on your camera. And if you have a question, you can just submit your question in the chat box Zoom, and we will read it on the Q&A session. Or if you want to say it directly to the instructor, you can raise hand, and the host will give you the permission to unmute yourself. And don't forget to change your student ID. And in the end of this session, don't forget to submit your attendance list. So, okay, let's meet the first instructor for this module. First, we have Dr. Silviana Maya Damayanti from Institut Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. She's an active faculty member in School of Business and Management. She's an expert in financial management, financial planning, investment management, and advanced financial planning. To Dr. Maya. Hello, Dr. Maya.
Hi.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will give you 40 minutes to deliver the material, and we will continue with the second speaker, with Dr. Dwi Wulandari. So, to Dr. Maya, the name is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Zufri, for your introduction of me to the student. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are on a good condition, in a health condition. And as Mr. Moderator said before, that today's module 11, will cover the financial technology and personal financial planning. And since I am the certified of financial planner, then I will give you the material about the personal financial planning. Okay, I will share the my screen. Okay, Mas Zufri, bisa lihat ya? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, it's okay.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is my material. This is my module. We call it the personal financial planning. Because I think the personal financial planning is a life skills for all of you. It's not only for the finance person, but all of you need this personal financial planning, because as we know, from we was born until we got died, we will need amount of money, right? From our parents, they need a labor cost, and then they need to doing or take you into the education, and then they need more money for your education fund, and then for their life, their pension or retirement fund. So this life cycle needs amount of money. That's why we need to plan our personal finance. So this is me. I am Silviana Mayanti. You can call me Maya, my middle name, and I'm from School of Business and Management, Institut Teknologi Bandung. Okay. The questions is, what is financial planning? So the financial planning is the process. I give the big word here, the capital word here. Process of developing strategies to help people manage their financial situation to meet their goals. So the process and the manage is the keyword for the financial planning. What kind of process, what kind of manage, we will see it in detail on the next slide, yeah. Okay, so this is the financial planning process. The first, we need to set the goals. As we know, we want to achieve our dreams into goals, right? We have many dreams. We can dream for free. So let's have a dreams, many dreams, any dreams that you want to pursue on your goals, on your life goals. So set the dreams. But how this dream become a goal? We need to do with some method. I think you know the one of method to pursue your dreams into goals. Sometimes we call it SMART method. Yeah. So SMART, S is for the specific, M is for measurement, A is for attainable or achievable, R is for realistic, and T is for timely bound. So you can divide or you can make the details for these dreams into goals using this method. And this dream or this goal should divide it into 3 periods. The first is short term. Short term means less than 1 year. And then medium term. Medium term is 1 to 5 years or 1 to 5 years period. And then more than first step you need to process your financial planning is set the goal. Where it comes from, comes from your dreams. Yeah. The second is we need to gather some financial data. What kind of data? Yeah. As we know, in financial management, maybe in corporate financial management, we have 4 financial statements. The first is income statement. The second is balance sheet. The third is the cash flow statement. And 4 is the retained earning statement. But for the personal financial planning, we just need 2 statements only. So it is quite easy for us. So what those 2 statements is the income statement, or sometimes we call it income and expenses statement, and then the balance sheet statement. Okay, so this is the financial data, and after we got all this financial data, we can find our financial health condition. Sometimes personal financial planner say it is a financial health checkup, because while we assess our financial planning, then we may know that this is in a good condition, in a health condition, or maybe in stadium 1, 2, 3, or 4, something like that, yeah. Okay, so we need to do this financial health checkup, our condition, our financial health condition. Is it in a good condition, or we need to do something into our financial condition? And after we know the financial health checkup, then we need to develop financial planning. So when we all have this dreams, we can make in detail doing with smart method, with a different period, and then we put it into the financial planning, how to achieve those financial goals. And we need to find or we need to decide what is the priority for our financial planning goals. Okay, and then after we do the financial planning, we develop the financial planning, then we need to implement. So it is not just on a report or on in a book plan, but after that, what we have to do is to implement it. So when your financial planner said that you need to saving, you need to put your money into saving or investment product, then you have to do that, implement it. And after that, we need to evaluate. I think for the financial planning, we can do it on a monthly or a quarterly or our financial planning. Okay. Next is the questions why we need the financial planning. So why we need the financial planning? Because sometimes people say, okay, just let's make it, let it flow or something like that. But I think you remember the Benjamin Franklin quote that if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. We don't want to be like that. So why we need a financial planning? Because we are living too long. So why it is matter? Living too long. Yeah, because when we get older, then must be some expenses decrease, but some expenses it increase, like the healthy costs, insurance costs, and other costs that need to cover our life in the retirement period, maybe. Or dying too young. Why dying too young need the financial planning? Yeah, because if he or she have a dependent, then he or she needs to cover their dependent, so their dependent can live like this Mr. A or Mrs. A still in a life health condition. And then we only have a limited time. Yes, we know we are busy, we're doing our job, we're studying, and there are many assignments from your lecturer. Then we don't have a time to decide or to do our financial planning book plan. So it is related with the market condition changes rapidly. We know last night UK announced that they got a recession for their country, maybe around -23%. So yes, this condition changes rapidly. The market condition, the capital market, let's say the investment product, many investment products that for now in Indonesia, maybe the stock investment or emiten is around 600 emiten, I think, in Indonesia. We confuse with emiten that we need to choose to cover our financial planning. And then the growing of middle class income. So they need this middle class income, their family need to cover their parents, they need to cover their kids. They sometimes called sandwich generation. So yes, they need this financial planning to make their life better. Okay. Now we see the scope of financial planning. First is the emergency fund. What is emergency fund? Yes, emergency fund, it must be a fund that we put into a separate product, let's say for saving, let's say saving account. So it is only for emergency. So if you want to buy a bag, a shoes, that's not emergency, yeah. But this is the fund that we need. We can use it only for the emergency or very urgent thing. Next, second is the cash flow management. Okay, so the cash flow management, like I mentioned before, that the cash flow management related with the income and expenses statement. We will cover this later. Okay. Next is debt management. Debt management means how we manage our loan, how we manage our debt, so we cannot trap into this debt situation. Yeah. Okay. The next is education fund. For your information, in Indonesia, the inflation of education for the favorite school in Indonesia, it's around 15%, 15% until 30%, 30%. So it is quite high for us in Indonesia to put our kids into a favorite school because there are so expensive it is because the inflation is very high. So we need, if we want to put our kids into the favorite school, we need to do this financial planning as good as possible based on our capacity. And then the next is risk management. Risk management related with the personal insurance. So risk is the uncertainty. We always face the uncertainty in every day in our life. We always face this uncertainty thing. So how we cover with this uncertainty? Yes, we can transfer it into the insurance company. So we need to pay the transfer risk, right? So the pay for the transfer risk, we call it premium, premium cost. Next is retirement fund. The retirement fund is the fund to cover your pension period or your retirement period. Yeah. Sometimes people say that, when I got retired, maybe I don't need that amount of money. So maybe I just little city, then my cost is not too high while I'm still on working. So I don't need that much of money. But you need to increase your health costs. It means your let's say medical checkup, and then vitamin, other medicine for support your life, or other maybe you want to traveling around the world, then you need that money to cover your retirement life. Okay, next is the portfolio management. It is how you manage your portfolio assets, and the assets can be divided into two, real assets and financial assets. The real asset itself is the asset that, we can call it fixed assets, like a house, and then the land, building, any other asset, that fixed asset. And then the other is the financial asset. Financial asset means time deposit, and then mutual fund, bond, stock, derivative maybe, and forex. We can call it financial asset. Yes. Why we need to do the portfolio? Because based on financial theory, portfolio theory, if we do this portfolio, it means we need to we cannot put our asset into one basket. Maybe you know that quote, right? Do not put your egg in one basket, because if your basket fall, then the egg will crash. all will crash. But if you put that asset into many forms, then it will reduce the risk of your financial asset or your real asset. Yeah. Okay. The next is the personal tax planning. Yes, personal tax planning. Sometimes the personal finance have a relationship with the tax planner to do this personal tax planning. Yes, we have to pay the tax. In Indonesia, there are several tax that we need to pay. And then the next is the estate planning. In Indonesia itu warisan ya, estate planning. Dan sometimes we call it distribution, wealth distribution. So when we if we die, then our asset will inherited into our dependent or our family. And then the next is other planning. This is the last scope of financial planning is the other planning. Other planning, you have a plan to traveling, you have a plan to buy a car, buy a house, buy an asset, or you have do other planning related with your life, then we can put it into the others planning. Okay, I will explain the first three of the scope of financial planning. The first is the emergency fund. Okay, so this one is the terminology of emergency fund. Emergency fund is a fund that has been allocated separately. So this, I need to stressful into this word located separately to meet the needs some emergency things. What kind of emergency things? For example, if you're losing the job, unemployment, or we have a significant medical expenses, or home or auto repairs, then we need to take this money from the emergency things. But how much money that we need to cover this emergency fund? Based on financial planning theory, we have a rule of thumb that if we still single, then we need 3 to 6 times monthly expenses. So, for example, if the monthly expenses is 3 million rupiah per month, then for single people, he or she needs 3 times 3 or 4 times 3 or 5 times 3 or 6 times 3 million rupiah. It is depend on. So if the single person have aggressive risk appetite or risk profile, then maybe you just need 3 to 4 times monthly expenses. But if he or she is the conservative one, maybe he or she is more comfortable if the saving account has that 6 times this monthly expenses. For small family with 2 kids, 6 to 9 times monthly expenses. Big family with 3 kids or more needs 9 to 12 times monthly expenses. But now we're on the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, not in Indonesia, but all over the world, we face this COVID-19 pandemic, and every sector impacted to this COVID. So based on the pandemic historical in the world, many research will cover at least 12 months until 36 months, 36 months, means 1 year until 3 years. We can cover the pandemic. This is based on the pandemic historical. So the financial planner said that, yeah, okay, so minimum 12 times our monthly expenses. So what is the criteria of this emergency fund? Yeah, because this emergency fund needs to allocate it sparsely and it needs to cover the emergency thing. So the criteria is we have this emergency can be accessed, easy access, and then it should be liquid or it should be low risk. So with these three criteria, we can put our emergency fund into saving account. Or if you have an aggressive risk profile, then you can put it into one, saving account, second, time deposit, and third, the mutual fund with the lowest risk. So what is the mutual fund with the lowest risk? Yes, it is money market mutual fund. You can put your money into money market mutual fund. Put into portfolio. It's okay, no problem. Okay. The next is the cash flow management. So the one you need to do with this cash flow management or with this financial planning is you have to make some notes for your financial condition. If you buy something, then the store will give you a receipt, right? Or if the store cannot give you the receipt, then you will get the short message or email for that receipt. So you need to take a note for everything that you spend your money or you got an income from your job. So make that note. It is simple, but I think it is difficult to do that. Yes. Yeah, me as a financial planner, sometimes, yeah, I'm too lazy to do this note, but you have to do it because you need to evaluate this cash flow. Okay, so today's condition, COVID-19 pandemic, some people got an increase or decrease for their income. Some people, the expenses is increase or decrease. Now we can see one by one which expenses increase in this condition, in this COVID-19 condition. So which increase for the expenses is the vitamin. Everyone wants to get health. So everybody buy this vitamin data because we need to then we spend a lot for data, quota, electricity, delivery, food delivery, fruit, because I want to get health. I want in a health condition, so I need to eat a lot more of fruits and then healthy food, online shop, and donation or etc. Yeah. So which expenses have a decrease in this condition? Yes, because we school from home and work from home, then the transport will decrease. Dine in because many lockdown in many area, then restaurant cannot do this activity, dine in activity, and then traveling. Membership, gymnastic membership, something like that, or any kind of membership. And then when you already make some note of this income and expenses, and we evaluate our income and evaluate our expenses. How? Now we move to the financial health checkup. Okay. So the income, all the income, increase or decrease, all the income, let's say the salary, scholarship from your parents or any other income, bonuses, dividend, your business return or some any other kind of income, and then minus all of the expenses. And then if you have a surplus, then it is good for you. If you have a deficit, then you need to find out which part that make you deficit here. The easiest way is everybody maybe now from millennial now or next generation using the mobile banking or internet banking for your saving account, right? The easiest way is you can download or your historical data from your bank, and then you can find one by one which part that is the biggest expenses every month. So we can check it from that historical data. If a deficit, then you need to decrease your expenses. In financial planning theory, we have many ways to make it the deficit one into the surplus. The first is to decrease your expenses. Start to decrease your expenses. The second, increase your income. The third is you can sell your asset. Fourth is you can have another loan or debt. But we as a financial planner, sometimes we do not you increase your debt, meaning you increase your risk, right? Your personal risk. So we as a financial planner do not suggest that. But in reality, the easiest one to implement those theory is to increase the income. Why? Yeah, because the expenses, sometimes the expenses is there are a hobby things or a hobby cost in on those expenses, right? If we decrease our hobbies, then it is difficult for us to decrease it. So the easiest way in application is to increase the income. Yeah, it is interesting, right? And then the second checkup is to find the asset, liability, and the net worth. This asset equal with liability and net worth, we call it the balance sheet statement. So we make some note all of our assets, a current asset, fixed asset. The current asset is our cash, time deposit, saving account, and then if we have a bond, we can put it into that current asset. And then for the fixed asset, we can divide it into two, personal asset or investment asset. The personal assets like jewelry, antiques one, or if you have a collecting item like shoes, Nike shoes, and then a bag, you can put it into, or a watch, yeah, you can put it into the personal asset. And if you have an investment asset like a house, you rent your house, then you can put it into the investment asset. And then in the right side is the liability. The liability can be divided into two, the current liability and the long-term debt. The current liability is for credit card, for example, credit card or short loan. And then for the long-term debt is the mortgage or KPR ya in Indonesia, that have a more than 1 year period. Okay, then you find the net worth. Net worth means in corporate financial management, net worth is the equity. But in personal financial management or personal financial planning, the equity equal with net worth. So net worth is the asset minus liability. So it is your net worth. Okay. Then we have to do the financial priority. The next step is we have to do the financial priority. The first, if you have a liability, yeah, financial priority is the liability you have to pay it, because if you do not pay that liability, then um, uh, there's those company or those leasing can take your assets because you cannot pay those debt. So the liability means credit card, the tuition fee, the mortgage, or the insurance premium. Then you need to find the needs. The needs is only the primary needs, I think, for this for now condition. Yeah, for this condition means food, for your health, and for your safety. And then we need to divide it. It is need or want. So if you need it, needs mean for the primary food, health, and safety, it is okay for you. But if you want it, I think you don't need to buy it for now. But you may saving or you may invest for that kind of things, and you can buy it later, maybe 6 months later or 1 year later or more. Yeah. Okay. The next is debt management. Okay, we can divide it this debt type into two: the consumptive one and productive one. The consumptive is the online debt, pinjol in Indonesia, pinjaman online, and then credit card, because credit card is less than 1 year, right? So it is consumptive, yeah. And then the productive one is the mortgage or apartment loan or business. We call it the productive debt. This is how you manage your debt is maximum 30% from your income. So if your income is 1 million rupiah, then your debt is maximum 300 rupiah. No more than that, because you can get a trouble if you have a debt more than 30%. And if you have a credit card, you have to pay in full payment, do not in minimum payment, yeah, because I don't have the credit card actually. Yeah. So the credit card is only to extend your payment. You have this amount of cash, you have it, you have the money, but the credit card is only to extend this money into this things. So only to extend, yeah. I repeatedly, it's only to extend. You have, and you need to pay it full, not in minimum. Because if you pay in minimum payment, then your interest will be higher and higher, increase and increase. Yeah. And then that's like what if you have many debt, then you need to prioritize it. You need to make schedule to make you easily to pay those debts. Then try to make a note all of your debt and then make it ranking with the highest interest. And you need to pay the highest interest first, because the highest interest sometimes it is the short term, right? In a short term loan, then will give you a highest interest. So you pay that first, and then you can pay it in the next interest, the lower interest, and then the lowest interest. So it is that fact. It will help you to pay the debt management. So the last is, if you have a bonus and if you have a debt, try to pay your debt first using your bonus. Yeah. So do not use that bonus to pay new bags and new shoes. No. But pay that bonuses for your debt first. So it makes you easier to pay the rest. Okay. So I think you are familiar with this app, Easy Financial Calculator. I just want to give you one example of the app. This one.
Sorry, Dr. Maya.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes left.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lucy. Okay, this financial calculator will help you to find the present value, to find the future value, to find how much money that I should invest every month to pursue or to achieve my financial goals. So you can use this financial calculator. This is the app. I think yes, easy financial calculator have a website, so you can use the website as well. And it is easy, user friendly. So this is my last slide. I hope the financial planning gives you a financial freedom. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll give it back to Pak Zulfi.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Maya, for the material. As Dr. Maya mentioned before, we have a good point from her material, like it's important to implement your financial planning. And when we need a financial planning, the scope of financial planning, and how to manage your financial in the middle of the pandemic like happen now. So let's move the second speaker. We have Dr. Bulan. Hello, Dr. Bulan.
Hello. Hello, Mas Jufri. Hi.
Okay, thank you. Before we move to the presentation, I will to introduce who's Dr. Bulan. Dr. Dwi Wulandari, Professor, PhD of Financial Economics from Brawijaya University and Sandwich Program in the University of Queensland, Australia. Certified Financial Planner from Financial Planning Standard Boards. Lecturer in Universitas Negeri Malang, Brawijaya University and Universitas Terbuka. Regional Chief Economist Bank Negara Indonesia. Author of 50 international publications and 19 indexed by Scopus. And she also Vice Secretary of ISAE Malang, International Economic Olympiad Coach, former Head of Development Economic Department in Universitas Negeri Malang, former Translator and Training Coordinator for Council for Economic Education USA, and don't forget to follow Instagram Dr. Wulandari at Wulandari 50181. Okay, Dr. Wulandari, you have 40 minutes to present your material. So for Dr. Wulandari, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mas Jufri. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's an honor for me to be here in front of you in this summer school, and I hope you are still in a good spirit to participate in any kind of discussion. So I will talk about financial planning for startups today. So please let me share my materials. Okay. Okay, so Bu Maya already talked about personal financial planning. You know, as a businessman or as a person who wants to start something, some business, startups, you need to have two financial planning. Because one, you have to improve your business. That is why you have a financial planning for business. And if it's a startup, then you will need to make financial planning for your startups. But the purpose of we do business is we want to have a good welfare for our family. That is why you also learn personal financial planning, like what Bu Maya said earlier. So you have to understand about emergency fund, you have to understand about what you want in life, what you need in life, how to make priority of scale, and how to achieve those goals. Okay, so please keep in mind that you will need to make two financial planning. So after the personal financial planning, we will learn about financial planning for startups or business. I have been a mentor for many startups for them to get investor, to have a good pitching deck, you know, to develop their business. I work with the Central Bank of Indonesia. I work with the Financial Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, Financial Service Authority. small business, and I give many materials about how to plan something for your business despite planning for your personal needs. Okay, first of all, if we want to talk about financial planning for startups, oh, I'm sorry, I have a problem with my slide. Okay. Okay, first of all, okay, so this is my profile. Mas Jufri already talked about it. And if you want some financial tips or talk about finance, you can go to my Instagram because I usually give many financial tips there. Wulandari 50181. Okay, so we will talk about definition for financial planning for startups. Okay, it is the process of estimating the capital required and determining its competition. So it is the process of framing financial policies in relation to procurement, investment, and administration of funds of an enterprise. So we have some objectives here. First, you need to determine the capital requirements. So this will depend upon factors like cost of current and fixed asset, and then you will need to know about your promotional expenses because it could be expensive, and then you need to have a long range planning. So the capital requirements have to be looked with both aspects, short term and long term. Don't ever forget that. And then you need to determine your capital structure. So how will you start your business? Will you take a big amount of debt, or will you do it by bootstrapping, using what you have in your life? So this is the decision about debt to equity ratio, both in short term and long term. So there are not really a good number for this, but if you use too many debts, remember that you will need to pay lots of interest. So I think it will be better if you didn't really know about how is the your business going to be. Maybe you should bootstrap first because it will save you for many unnecessary risks. And then you need to frame the financial policies with regards to cash control, lending, borrowings, and other things. So a finance manager ensures that the scarce financial resources are maximally utilized in the best possible manner at least cost in order to get maximum returns on investment. So when you are a financial manager, you will think about, if I do this, will the marginal benefit exceed the marginal cost? Because if it's not, don't do it. So you have to make a good decision. That is why you learn financial planning, because it will guide you to make a better decision for your business. Okay, so what is the importance of financial planning? Okay, so I see lots of people in the waiting room. Sorry. Okay. Okay. To ensure, will it be a good use of a funding? And then you need to balance between the outflow and inflow of funds so the stability is maintained. Like Bu Maya said earlier, even in your personal financial planning, you have to know about your cash flow. So you need to make your cash flow stay positive. And then financial planning ensures that suppliers of funds are easily investing in companies which exercise financial planning. So for example, you need some funding and you want to go to you want to go online to have to make a debt. They will see your financial planning. They will see whether your company able to pay them or not, because if your company is not able to pay them, why would they give you some debt? Why would they invest in you? And then next, financial planning helps in making growth and expansion programs, which helps in long run survival of the company. So if you have financial planning, you know when to diversify, you know when to be more expensive, and you know where to stop and pause a minute, not too expensive because the economy is not so well. How do you know that? You need to have financial planning. And then financial planning reduces the uncertainties with regards to changing market trends, which can be faced easily through enough funds. For example, this is the pandemic era. So people will lose their needs to buy something. It will cost you something because people not buying your product anymore. So you don't have enough money. But if you already have the emergency fund, you can still survive. I see there are many business that came to me and say, thank God you told me about emergency fund because now I can survive until the pandemic ends. Okay, so that is why you really need to have your emergency fund. And then financial planning helps in reducing in these uncertainties, which can be a hindrance to growth of the company. This helps in ensuring stability and profitability in concern. So if you have a financial planning, you will have a financial checkup, and then you know that your business is giving you a profit or not because you work. You have to have a profit. If it's not profitable, why would you work? Just put your money somewhere else. It will give you some profit. So that is the importance of financial planning. Okay, so what are the basic principles? First, just like the financial planning for personal financial planning, cash flow management is key. So most startups fail for a variety of reasons, but one is far more common than others, running out of money. If your startup's running out of money, well, that means you are in trouble. So you need to know where every single dollar, where every single rupiah is coming from, and where every single dollar is going. If you don't stay on top of your cash flow, you are going to put your business in a very dangerous position. When you run out of money, you hit a brick wall. So what to do when you don't have any money at all? So establish a budget and stick to it. Be disciplined on your budget. Next, you need to monitor all of the spending. Okay, so for example, if you hire a full-time staffer to handle the books in the beginning, isn't very budget friendly. So maybe you should use the accounting software to remain organized. Like you use a free software to do your financial statement. Because if you need to pay a person while your business is not growing, well, it will cost you lots of money. So not only will this help with cash flow management, but it also makes it much easier when tax time rolls around every year. Remember, even you have a small business, you still need to pay your tax because if you do not pay it, it will be a burden for you in the future and you could have collapsed just because you didn't pay your tax. And then as you grow and the accounting becoming more complex, you will need to consider hiring a professional. So in the beginning, use some free apps, use anything you can do to do your bookkeeping, to make your financial statement. But as your business grows, maybe you need to hire a person to take care of all of the things. So you have to have a good decision on this one. And then, okay, I see lots of people are in the waiting room. Okay, I will admit all so people can join. Okay, so limit your fixed expenses in the beginning. In the beginning stage of startup, keeping your expenses low is the key to longevity. You don't need a huge elaborate office just to make sure that, oh, you have a very good office in the heart of the city or fully catered meals 3 times a day. You don't need to prove that to people like, wow, I have a big office in the middle of the city, so this is must be a very successful business. Well, actually you don't need that at the first time. Why? Because it is expensive. It will make you pay a lot while it will not contribute many things to your business. So operate thin. At the beginning, you need to operate thin so you can allocate the majority of your capital to growth, which will enable you to one day implement any perk you want. So if you can save money in the beginning, next you will have lots of money and you can do anything with the money. Okay, so too many startups focus on the wrong things. You know, they have fancy offices and then over the top amenities and forget that generating revenue should be their top priority. So you try to brand your startups just like it is a very successful one. It costs you lots of money. It will put you in debt. and there's nothing to do with the income revenue of your with the growth of your revenue. So don't do that. Okay, just limit the fixed expenses, especially when you are still in the beginning. Okay, always hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. So anything could happen when starting a business. So it is best to prepare yourself for the worst possible situation. Okay, for example, like this, you start a business while you are still working. Don't quit your job and eliminate your main source of income until your business can replace that income. Why? Because in business, we face risk. It can be something successful, but it can also be something that is not good for us. So you still need your main source of income. Okay, so you still keep reserve, both personal and business. Talking about emergency fund, you need emergency fund for your personal, for your family, but also need emergency fund for your business. So you can never be too prepared for bad situations. Like, I know people would say, what is the worst thing could happen? Have you ever guessed that there is one tiny, little, very little, so tiny virus that can kill so many business in this world? Maybe we never imagined, but it is happening. So everything could happen. You need to stay optimistic but prepare for the worst. Emergency fund, never forget about that. Every minute of your time has monetary value. Okay, time is money. Nothing has more monetary value than your time. So because you only have 24 hours. So like Bumaya said earlier, you have 24 hours and then you have to do so many things. So please plan your schedule and day-to-day duties, especially when you already has a job, but you want to build a startup. So 24 hours sometimes is not enough. That is why you need to make plan. Every second you spend doing something unrelated to your business is time and money wasted. So please be careful with your time. It is a very valuable resources. And then you need to be focused on customer acquisition. Without customers, you have no business. So the sooner you figure out how to acquire customers and scale, the greater the chances are of your company of making it. Once you identify different acquisition channels, work on optimization to lower your costs. Because it is impossible to test every possible acquisition channel at first, both in terms of time required and cost. So focus on the most lucrative opportunities. So once you are successfully scale those, you'll have the financial capability to explore other channels. So that is what you should do. Don't ever forget to make sure you pay yourself first, because you have your hard work, your dedication to your business alone isn't going to put food on your table. You have a family. You need to feed your family. That is why you need to pay yourself. Okay? Beginning. Okay, at least make sure you pay yourself enough to live, because don't be too focused on growing your business but your family don't have enough food on the table. That is bad. Okay, so give yourself enough to live comfortably and focus on building your business. When you eliminate personal financial stress, it will allows you to stay ultra focused on your business. So like you cannot eat ramen noodles or Indomie forever. So give yourself some padding and comfort. It also will help you to be more motivated to improve your business, because you already do the best for yourself. Don't forget to establish financial goals. Like rather than say, I want to build a multi-million dollar company. No, you need to break financial goals down into reachable and measurable ones. Why would you invest? Why would you save if you don't have goals? Why? There's no need to save or invest if you don't have goals. So make your goals. It will be easier to achieve if you make a good goals, reachable and measurable. So monthly, weekly, or even daily revenue goals allow you to stay on track and make the adjustment necessary for constant growth. You can even set milestones to hit along the way, giving you a lot of smaller goals to constantly hit. So knocking out little goals can give you the confidence needed to keep powering through the entrepreneurial journey. So what is the conclusion of these basic principles? Financial planning that follows a properly defined and documented process will give the greatest chance of a successful outcome. It will not guarantee financial security or wealth, but it will provide an opportunity to pursue both and requires proper analysis, discipline, and expertise. Okay, now what are the steps in doing this financial planning? First, don't forget to define and agreeing your financial objectives and goals. The goals and objectives will be the guide to the financial plan and should provide a roadmap for your financial future. They should contain the following features: quantifiable and achievable, clear and have a defined time frame. So is it like in the short run, middle, or long run? And then separate your needs from your wants. So they should be agreed and documented with your financial advisor to assist you to measure progress. If you don't have any financial advisor, it's okay because you are in the beginning. And then they should also be reviewed periodically to capture changing circumstances and to ensure they remain relevant. And then don't forget to gather your financial and personal information. The financial planning process and its success will depend on the quality and clarity of the information communicated to your advisor. If you have an advisor, if you don't, it's okay. Okay? So you need to know about your income, your expenditure, your asset, your liability, how you can achieve your goals if you know all of those. And then we need to analyze financial and personal information. You need to know your solvency ratio, savings ratio, liquidity ratio, and then debt service ratio. Your attitude, tolerance, and capacity for risk are assessed using a psychometrically designed risk tolerance questionnaire in relation to investment assets. So that is what you should do. I think Bumaya already talked about it. And then you need to make some financial statements. So you need to have your net worth statement, a balance sheet. You need to have annual consolidated tax calculation, and then you need a cash flow report. Now, it will show you that you are surplus or deficit. And then don't forget to implement all of the plan, okay? So you need to implement all of the plan. And then also, this is a dynamic ongoing process that needs continuous monitoring. So always review the action recommended to the plan. So maybe you need to adjust your plan because maybe there are different economic condition, or there are something in your life that just came up and it's different. That is why you need to review your financial plan. Don't forget to structure your plan effectively, making 3 or more different scenarios, understanding your financial reports, and presenting your financials in your business plan. So, okay, I will go to this. Okay, first, when you need to structure your, okay, when you need to structure your plan, you need to structure your plan effectively. First, you have this startup cost. You need a research. You need to buy assets, put it there. And then you have the running costs. You have bills, right? So maybe electricity bill, water bill, or internet bills. It is bills. And then you're gonna need legal and finance. So make sure always understand about legal and finance. And then you're gonna need insurance. You're going to need permits, transport, website, marketing. So you need to estimate how much money will I need to build my business. And then you will have to pay salaries and contracts for staff and contractors. And then in terms of sale, what are you selling? Is it product? Is it service? And what about the cost of selling? You need to show that. And then for the funding, will you use your money, bootstrapping, owner's capital, or will you borrow, or will you need investor? So you need to put everything into a good plan. So it is a picture of every activity in your business, okay? Your structure may be slightly different than this. This is just a normal structure because, you know, a different type of business will need a different types of cost structure. Variations and others are perfectly fine. It is not a one size fits all. Could do for your business, okay? And then next, okay, don't forget, always make 3 different scenarios. Why? Why would you make 3 or more different financial plans? Because the plan that you've made so far is the one that is likely to happen based on your research. But that doesn't mean it is going to happen. It is just like a past performance. It is based on your research. Okay, at a minimum, you should consider 2 other plans: a high revenue plan, a low revenue plan. It is tempting to say this should be a best case plan, worst case plan, but this is too extreme. Okay, so if you've done your research correctly and plan your business well, you should be able to avoid the worst case scenario. But a below average situation can still be trying for a business, especially when they are starting out. An above average situation may sound great, but doing well can have hidden costs. You may need to hire additional members of the staff to cope with the increased business you are getting, pay more for delivering your products or services, and be able to physically deal with the demand. Next, okay, you need to understand your financial plan, okay? So you're gonna need to have a cash flow. What is cash flow? The cash that comes into the business and the cash that goes out of the business. The cash flow shows when cash, digital or physical, actually changes hand in this transaction. Okay, so cash flow is the easiest report to understand because you know, like you do this every day. Okay, so what are the key questions that cash flow can answer? So how much cash in hand the business has every month? And then what are the consequences of a project, payments, or purchases happening at unexpected times? And then the toll each type of cash flow has on net cash, and will the business stay afloat? So when you are reviewing your cash flow, you can answer those questions. And then next, you will need a profit and loss record. So this is a profit and loss records. Okay, I will admit everybody. Okay. Okay, so how do you make a loss? It's a way of saying that something the business owns has lost value. So the profit and loss takes into account when or over how long transactions are agreed rather than when cash actually changes hands. So the key question the profit and loss can answer is, what are the business gross profit, operating profit, and profit for a given period? Can the business afford to take on new projects? What non-cash losses is the business suffering? And how are dividends related to profit? Next, you need to have a balance sheet. A balance sheet shows the financial position of a business at any given time, showing how what it owns, asset, balanced with what it owes, liabilities, and the money that has been invested in it, or equity. This all sounds pretty esoteric, but it boils down to how risky is the business. The key question the balance sheet can answer is value of the business asset, size of the business debt, what funds the business debt or investment, and how risky is the business for investor. So that is why if you want me to invest in your business, I will see your balance sheet. Next, okay, let me check the waiting room. I will admit everybody. Okay. Okay, when it comes to the sustainable growth of your business, of a startup company, it becomes extremely important to understand the health of the firm. So if you want to know your firm healthy or not, you have to understand the liquidity ratio, the leverage ratio, efficiency ratio, and profitability ratio. So for like liquidity ratio, it is also called the short-term solvency ratio. We can tell if the company can pay off its short-term liabilities quickly or not. So if your liquidity ratio is too low, that means you don't have enough cash in hand. But if it's too much, then you will lose the opportunity of the money to to be using in an investment. So you need to keep, like, just enough amounts of money. Sometimes we call it like the emergency fund should cover your 12 months of business expenses. I think that is enough for the liquidity ratio. And then next, you will need to see your leverage ratio. So we can tell if the company can pay off its long debt or not. So maybe you can see like the debt to equity ratio. If your business has too high debt or equity ratio, the investor will probably don't want to give you anything because they think you will not be able to pay them. So the debt to equity ratio should be in between. You can say it is better if the debt to equity ratio is like below one. So because it is very important to make sure that your business are not built by huge amount of debt. And then you will have to understand your efficiency ratio, or we can call it asset utilization ratio. And then don't forget to have your profitability ratio measures, because it is showing how efficient your firm in using your assets and manage its operation. Okay, so this is like the normal financial ratios every startup should know. First, you need to know your working capital ratio. This ratio indicates whether a company has enough assets to cover its debt. We can call it current asset. Uh, we can count it by dividing current assets with the current liabilities. So anything below 1 indicates negative working capital, while anything over 2 means that the company is not investing excess assets. So the ratio normally between 1.2 until 2, it is sufficient. This is about the amount of money you need to have, right? The cash in hand you need to have. And then debt to equity ratio. This is measure of a company's total financial leverage. It's calculated by total liabilities divided by total assets. So 0 to 1.5 or 0 or 2, sometimes people can accept that, would be considered good, while anything over that is not so good. And then you will need to understand your gross profit margin ratio and also net profit margin ratio. So whenever the number is high, is very good because it shows that your company has a good profitability. And then you need to show your investor or people that you want to invest in your company, you need to show them the return on investment ratio. Because why? Because if I have money, I will consider putting my money into financial instrument, how much will I get with the risk, and then putting my money into startup, the risk is higher, so I want to get a better return on investment. That is why it is very important for you to measure your return on investment. Okay, so this is talking about pitching deck. This will be my last slide. So when you want an investor, you need to have a pitch deck to present your company to prospective angel or venture capital investor. So the pitch deck typically consists of 15 to 20 slides in PowerPoint presentation, and is intended to showcase the company's product, technology, and then you need to show that this is a good company. Please put your money in your company. That is why you need to build a good pitching deck. So raising capital from investor is difficult and time consuming. Therefore, it is crucial that a startup creates a great investor pitch deck by articulating a compelling and interesting story. So I also help with many startups to build their pitching deck to make the investor invest in them. And then we try to do a brief presentation, but a very interesting presentation. That is why you need to have company overview, mission, vision of the company, the team, the problem, the solution, the market opportunity, the product, the customer, technology, competition, traction, business model, marketing plan, financial, and then question and answer, the ask. Okay, so when you build your pitching deck, beside financial statement or other ratios, the investor will also see about the profile of the person who built this startup. So that is why if you want to be in this industry, please make sure you still have a good name here, never do anything that is, never trick anyone. So So always keep your reputation good, because in startup it is normal for you to start something, and then when it's already big you start another thing, and you will need to do all of this once again. So that is why you need to keep your name very good, so the investor will be interested not only in your business, but also in the profile of the person who have this business. So I think that is from me, and I think we can continue with question and answer and discussion, especially for young people who really want to build a startup. There are so many considerations and so many challenges, but if we can that is developing, and it will help you to improve your welfare. Thank you very much, and I will go back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wan, for insightful material. We have a good point from if you run a startup or a business, like cash flow management is a key. Track and monitor all spending, limit your fixed expense in the beginning. Even the further, Dr. Wan mentioned about how to pitching for your startup. Okay, it's time for quiz to our structure. I mean Q&A section. Yeah, kan because the question is for the instructor, so it's quiz. Okay, first we have a question from Asep Indonesia to Dr. Maya. First, to what extent this financial planning can cost if someone need a personal financial planner? Do you think regularly the needy of or middle low income people maybe cannot afford it? Two, who is actually the most desired or in a urgent need of this personal financial planning? So to Dr. Maya.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mas Zufri. Okay, very interesting questions from Mr. Asad from Indonesia. That your questions is the cost if someone need a personal finance. Okay, maybe I can directly answer it, but no mention the number. The cost will depend on the assets of the client. So if you become a financial planner, then you have a client, then the cost it will depend, or the fee it depend on the client assets. So sometimes there are a financial planner that uh, take 20% fee from the assets, or sometimes they divide it into two planning to book plan. The first is based on case by case. So if you want to the financial planner to do your insurance costs or insurance fund, then they will make a plan for only for your insurance. Or if you want to make an education plan for your kids, then the financial planner will do only the only the education fund. So it can be based case by case or comprehensive plan. So comprehensive plan is start from your goals as a client, and then how to achieve that. Because sometimes clients say that I want this A, B, C, T to Z, then but sorry to say they cannot afford all of this financial goals. So with his or her financial planner, they make a prioritization for the financial goals. So it is based on the case by case or based on comprehensive plan. But you know, I said you're from Indonesia, right? You know that financial consultant, right? Their client show the fee of this financial planner. So yeah, range for one case is 2.5 million rupiah to 5 million rupiah, and for the comprehensive plan range from 10 million rupiah to 30 million rupiah. But yeah, I know because on the social media they show it to the netizen, yeah, Asad, yeah. Okay, but the second question, oh sorry, if someone need a finance, do you think regarding the need or middle low income people cannot afford it? Okay, if middle low income people cannot afford it, they can find any information in the internet, or you make googling from internet. So there are many personal financial consultant have a website. Then we can access those websites, so we can have basic financial planning information about financial planning, or maybe a little bit of data for, let's say, education costs in Jakarta or in Bandung or in Surabaya. We have that kind of data. They share into the website, so you can get it for free. So no problem, I think, for a middle low income to have the financial planning to their self. But maybe for consultation, they need to pay, yeah, on that range that I mentioned before. So who is the second questions? I hope the answer it is financial planning. I think everyone need this financial planning. Everyone who have a dreams, right? We all have a dreams, but how we dreams, we can use the tools, financial planning tools, to achieve our financial goals. Because I think every dreams need a cost. So we need the financial planning. But I think we don't need the financial planner if we have a time, like in my slide before, that if we have a time, we know the investment product, we want to find the knowledge, I think we can use, or we can do by ourselves for this financial planning. But in financial planner, we have specialized. So there are a financial planner specialized in an celebrity, the artist, actor in Indonesia. There are financial planner for the retirement people. There are financial planner for business owner. There are financial planner for specialized for young people or millennials. So you can meet this financial planner based on based on their target market. Okay, so or if in a bank there are wealth department, they make a portfolio, they make a plan for wealthier people. The assets is more than I'm not sure in US dollar, yeah, but in rupiah it is more than 5 billion rupiah, the assets that collect in that bank, so they can make a portfolio for them. Yeah, because sometimes wealthier people, or we call it HNI, high net worth individual, that have money more than 5 billion rupiah, they have no time to do their own financial planning. So they need, I think the urgent need for these people is that it's NI, or high net worth individual people. Okay, I hope my answer is can answer your questions. Yeah. Okay. The second question is from Mr. Adianto. Yeah, Mas Rizal. I will read.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Maybe Dr. Wulan's question is maybe apa? We change to Dr. Wulan
Okay.
question. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, please.
I will moderate the question. Okay, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Question to address to Dr. Wulan. First, regarding to the financial planning, what is the best way to promote financial education to Generation Z, and older generation? Second, regarding with the recent case about Joe Bibska, yeah, we know lah, because we know it's famous to give financial education to millennial generation, but turn out the be investment fraud. What is the tip or key point to differentiate between real financial planner and fraud? Thank you in advance. So
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. That is a very good question. Okay, first, okay, how to promote, how to promote this financial planning, or maybe you can say how to promote financial literacy. I believe that the millennials already know that they have to make financial planning, because they already understand that they have so many things that they want in life, unlike the other generation. And then they already know that they will face inflation. So if they did not have investment, it will be bad for their future. They already understand. So I think that many millennials right now already understand a lot that they need to have financial planning. Because I also give so many materials for the millennials, and I'm admiring them, because in my age, when I was in their age, I did not see that it is necessary to have financial planning. But now you guys started very early, and it's very good. Okay, so I believe that the financial literacy index in Indonesia is already improving. It's increasing if you see the data from the Financial Service Authority. So I think how to educate is using the media that they access. For example, if you are on Instagram, then use the media, follow the people that will give you financial advices. So I think that's what happened. That is why I'm very active in Instagram, giving you all the financial things, because I really want this generation to be able to have a higher financial literacy than the than the previous generation. And I really don't want us to be creating another sandwich generation, for example, if you are a sandwich generation right now. So I think it's already good using all the medias and all learning materials. Try to find something that everybody likes, so they feel the urge of learning financial planning. And then the second, okay, so I know this is a very, very famous case, and it decreasing the trust of the public to financial advisors. But okay, first, if you want to choose a financial advisor, make sure they have a good license. So our license, Bumaya's license, my license will be online. So if you Google our name, you will see that we are a certified financial planner. That is one of step. Why? Because if you are a real certified financial planner, if you have the certification, you will know about the ethical code. Okay, because that is the first thing we learn when we have this certification, is you have to know the ethical code. You know what to do and what not to do with your clients. Okay, so I think first you need to check the license. Not only believe in their Instagram profile, that is very good, and that is acquiring people to believe everything. And then next, you need to understand that your money is your responsibility. So everybody, anybody that says that they are a financial advisor, financial planner, but they want to have access to your account until at the time that you cannot even change the transaction, that is not good. So you should not choose those kind of things. So read again about your contract. So they cannot have access to your money, your responsibility, your decision. So I believe that in Jay's case, the person give all the responsibility to the financial advisors, and then they like to buy stocks and everything. And then third, we will never put you in a great risk, because financial planning is not the way to achieve welfare in short term. It is a process, so it is not something that teach you how to get rich quick. No, it is a process. We will help you to understand your financial condition, and then we will try to help you to choose the right amount, and then the right instrument for investment. So if one financial planner asks you to put your money in the um, I don't know how to say it in English, like in the third level of stocks. If you buy stocks, there are first level, second level, and third level. And if you are beginner, we will ask you to buy the first level. If you have a good like first, we will ask you about your financial goals, and then if you say that you will need the money in the long term, okay, we go to stock market. If you have aggressive, moderate to aggressive risk portfolio. But even if it's happened, we will never put your money in the third level of stock, like the capitalization of stock. So the first level is the blue chip stock. Usually all financial planner will ask you to put your money there, because we know that it is a lower risk comparing to other level. So that is why I was a bit surprised when I heard about the news. First, none of them have the license, and then the second is they put the money of the client in the third level of stocks, and then the client cannot have access to the fund because the financial advisor have access to the fund. So independent financial advisors will never do that. So be careful if somebody do that. So my advice for you is learn. Okay, you need to learn about this financial planning. So it is not putting your money in the hand of the financial planner, but you learn the basic principles. Like today, you are learning, oh, so I know what to do with my money. I know what to do with my budget. I know how to have an investment. I have the calculator to count. It is easier than just putting your money into somebody else's hand, because it could be gone in a blink of an eye. Okay, so I think that is my question. I hope it will help you. So always check and recheck first before you put your money somewhere. Never invest in something you don't understand. That's what Warren Buffett says. Thank you, Mas.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wulan. We move to the next question for Dr. Maya from Adianto. Thank you, Bu Maya, for your next presentation. I would like to ask a question related to some do and don't for those who belong to the so-called sandwich generation, so that they can implement how to efficiently allocate their income in order to avoid so at and to money lifestyle, since they have to divide their income for not only themselves and their family, but also their parents and sometimes their other relatives. So to Dr. Ramaya.
Yes, thank you, Mas Subri. Thank you, Mr. Adianto. Very interesting questions from you, that you are really care with this sandwich generation, that the sandwich generation is need to cover their parents, and they have to fund their kids and family. Do and don'ts for the sandwich generation. Yes, we are as some Indonesian culture that we still the retirement fund is their kids, right? This is Indonesian culture. Since other culture in other country, maybe in the Western, kids will out from their house on their 17 years old. But in Indonesia, uh, the retirement fund is their kids. So that's why we met this terminology, sandwich generation. Yes, the first thing first for sandwich generation that they need to do or to make a plan for their all of their financial goals or all of their goals. So they need to make a detail of these goals and then make a prioritize for these goals, and then try to communicate with their family. Maybe there are 2 or 3 kids on their family, and then try to discuss how they cover their parents. I think parents can yeah understand the cost of today's cost is really costly, or it is really expensive for today's cost. Maybe they must be understand about that condition. So what we need is to make a family discussion, do what maybe a donation for parents can yeah, sometimes I cannot say that we maybe we can try to decrease the donation for our parents, but yeah yeah yeah, we have to do that because there are many expenses that we have to cover for this situation. So they must be understand, and if we have a plan, then we can do it better, or we have a step by step, or we have a timeline to do this better than if we don't have a plan. So discussion, negotiation is, and communicate with our parents is, I think it is good, because many of my clients did that, and they really understand about that one. Or sometimes they bring their parents into their house. It is to lower the cost, because they just need to pay only one house compared with 2 or 3 houses. So yeah, it is hard for us because we still need to do mengabdi to our parents, right, as a kids. But so our job, our duty now as a sandwich generation is to cut it, so we don't give this liability to our kids, right? So we need to cut it from ourselves. So how to cut it? This what this condition into our kids or our grandchildren, then we need to do our retirement fund. So we need to make a retirement fund. So the retirement fund will fund us into the pension period or retirement period. I think that is the best answer for me. Yeah, I know in Indonesia it is quite difficult, but we have to do it, and our parent must be understand about that one. Yeah. Okay, Adianto. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Mas Sufri, thank you, Mas.
Okay, Dr. Maya, thank you for the answer. We have a question for both our instructor from Edward. What can relationship with fintech? How we can apply fintech in financial planner? Maybe Dr. Ulan can answer first the question.
Okay, so this is talking about financial technology. All the technology are there to make your life easier. So if it's regarding to the financial technology, what are all of this financial planning had something to do with financial technology? You can use all the financial technology to help you to better understand the financial planning and also to achieve your goals. For example, with the financial technology right now, when you want to open an account to buy some stock, for example, or to buy a mutual fund, you don't need to go to their office. You don't need to go outside your house. Just use your phone and download the application. make sure that is registered by the Financial Service Authority. And then you just need to fill in your forms, fill in the forms, and then you just need to start investing. That is very easy. If you need money, for example, if you need a fast money, because like you have a very good business opportunity, you need it now, and then tomorrow it will be back to you, the money will be back to you, so it's okay to just borrow like in one night or 2 nights. You can go to peer-to-peer lending. It is also fintech. So that means the fintech is here to help us to achieve our goals easier, faster, and better. That is why the key is to choose the right fintech for your needs. For example, if you know peer-to-peer lending, they have a high interest. So if it's not for the productive thing that you should acquire, never go to peer-to-peer lending because they will charge with a high interest. Or if you don't understand anything about investment, learn first. You need to learn investment first, and then you choose the best platform to help you. So fintech is here to help us to achieve our goals. That is why financial planning is very related to financial technology, because it will help you to make a better financial planning to achieve your goals. I think that is for me, Mas Jufri.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bulan. Maybe Dr. Maya can deliver your answer.
Okay, thank you, Mas Sufri. Okay, I think this fintech apps questions can answers not only for Edward, Mr. Edward, but also for Miss Audrey from Malaysia, I think, Miss Kyra related with gold loan, online loan, and then from Miss Berliana from Indonesia about the gift, about the portfolio, portfolio. So yes, Edward, there are many apps application in you can download it on the Android or from the Play Store or the Google Store. Play Store and App Store to find out this application, this fintech itself. And now it's not only private company come up with these apps, but also many banks have a department to do these apps using mobile banking, internet banking, etc. In Indonesia, for Indonesia participant, there are, maybe I can give an example. Committee, can I give some example of personal finance fintech in Indonesia? Boleh kasih contoh, Mas Sufri? Saya boleh kasih merek nggak ya?
Okay, go on.
Boleh ya? Okay. In Indonesia, there are Halo Vina. It is apps for personal finance. You can download it, or there is a Finansialku, also for the personal finance apps as well. And these apps can help you to cut the time rather than you find your own, let's say, investment product, or let's say you want to find out your own risk profile, then you can use these apps. It is very user-friendly. You can try to download it. And if I'm looking for the other apps in the world, then let's see in this Google Forbes, you can find it in Forbes. In 2020, there are many best application like Personal Capital, and then Mint. Maybe you familiar with the apps called Mint, M-I-N-T, and then YNAB, or Albert, or Clarity Money, and other apps that can support your financial goals. And then for Miss Audrey from Malaysia that mentioned about this interesting in invest in stock and bond. Yes, you can invest into bond and stock using these apps. Maybe you know the I'm not sure you're Malaysian, yeah, but in Indonesia there are e-commerce in Bukalapak, and they sell it sells the mutual fund. So they try to increase the financial inclusion in Indonesia through this app, through this e-commerce. So they many people can invest into this mutual fund only with 10,000 rupiah, and everyone now can invest into this kind of investment product from that small amount. So everybody can do this investment. But my question is to you, to everyone in here, if you want to invest in investment product, you need to answer these questions. What is your goals? So what is your financial goals? You need to answer that question first before you do the investment, because the goals, the short-term goals, the medium period, the long-term period goals, it must be give a different suggestions for the investment. Let's say for the short term, less than 1 year, you cannot put your investment into the long-term investment like stock or derivative, let's say, because stock and derivative is more riskier than the bond or the time deposit, let's say. So it is based on the period, based on your risk profile. By the way, the risk profile, how you know your risk profile, your own risk profile, you can use those apps as well. So if you want to invest using this fintech financial technology application, the first before you invest, these apps will ask your risk profile first. So the recommendation, the artificial intelligence from that software or apps or application will give you a guidance to choose what kind of investment that is suitable for your risk profile and for your goals, something like that. I hope it will answer the question. Also for Miss Kaira, Mas Zufri, saya mohon izin ya untuk jawab Miss Kaira juga. Okay, for Miss Kaira, for the goal, there are many apps, fintech that offer the gold investment. You can use it, but again, the question is, what is your goal? So gold, for me, for my personal opinion, gold is for long-term investment, because it is, we call it safe haven. It's AVEN, safe haven. So it is for long-term. If you want to get a return from, the gold, then I think you cannot get a return like a stock or bond. So it is only for the long term, because it can be hatch your assets actually. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, for Miss Berliana, this fintech application, they have a robo or automatically system that can give you a recommendation as well for your goals. So they can give you this percentage, how many percent you can put it into the low risk asset, how many percent that you can put into the middle risk asset, and how many percent that you can put it into the long-term asset. But my suggestions is the rule of thumb for the investment, if you want to invest, then you do not buy only one investment product, like we mentioned before, me and Ibu Wulan, that we have to make it portfolio. It is depend on your risk profile. If you are a aggressive one, then maybe you can put 30 to 40% of your portfolio into the stock. But if you are a conservative one, maybe you can put it into the mutual fund, something like that. Maybe we can discuss later, yeah, for your portfolio. I need to find out your risk profile first and your goals. Thank you. Mas Zupri.
Okay, Dr. Maya for the answer. Maybe for the Dr. Ulan, if you have a final statement
Okay,
for
so
the end of the session of module 11.
okay, so for all of you, never forget to make a financial planning. So you can start by understanding your personal financial planning, and then also if you want to build something, a business, you need to make the second planning. It is a financial planning for business. So never mix this up, because if you keep on mixing this up, it is very risky for you, because you might never outgrow your business, and then maybe you will never improve your personal financial planning. So it is very important to separate between personal financial planning to achieve your welfare, personal welfare, and also for your startup financial planning, or for your business financial planning, because it will improve your business. I think that is from me, Miss Jufri.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wulan, because limited time. So we have to end this module 11 about financial and financial planner. Yeah, I'm sorry, planning. So for all the students, you can fill the attendance list at committee already share. And for the instructor, I want to say thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Maya and Dr. Wulan. Maybe we can see you next event. Yeah. Hope
Okay.
you have a good day. Thank you very much for both of you. And then for all the students, the next session will be start at 2 p.m. Western Indonesia time with Mr. Liman Markus Raharja, discuss about fintech startup and venture capital as an instructor, and Gilang Bogi as the moderator. We suggest you to turn off the video while you are waiting for the next class, or you can leave for a while and be ready or rejoin